If you want to buy a copy of this software, you can buy this from ebay.co.uk, and this is my listing. It costs you 4.50 pence. And if you I also got some nice information in this photos, and this image shows you how to connect the PN532 breadboard to USB to TTL connections converter. And you can also connect using all these USB TTL, or the cheaper ones you can buy for a pound or a two. And you can see this connection for the blue board as well. And you can also use this software. It doesn't matter which board you're using, as long as it is PN532 and you are able to connect the way it's mentioned here. So these ports are also very popular boards. And this is some of the screenshots I have put. And as you can see here, this was the version 1.0 of the software. And also this is this screen shows how to read and write the NTAG 213. And I'll be making a new set of videos explaining various commands and that are related to this programming PN532 as well. This is the second part in this series on programming PN532. So you can see there's one more document which is called the PN532, the application note. This is also one of the important document, and I would advise you to have a copy of this and just skim through the chapter or the page 1 to page 75. So some information you understand better in this application note, and some are good in the user manual. So if you go to page number probably 32, yeah, now this section here tells how to use PN532 as a MIFARE reader. And as you can see here, this is the most important thing, is the commands are supported by PN532 firmware. So it also means you can use only those commands that are in the firmware. So if you go through this, it's very easy to understand, and I will just go through these steps. So this is a typical sequence you have to perform. The first is this command called inlist passive target to initialize one card. The next important thing is the in data exchange. See, this is one of the important command of PN532, and using this command you are able to send messages or the commands to the MIFARE tags. And after that, it also means once you finish using the tag, you can call in select or deselect or in release. So this, what it means is, so once you finish accessing the data, you can deselect the tag, or you can stop the tag and start with a new tag. There's also a nice example here. So it speaks about a command called set parameters, and after that you got the inlist command. Probably it's somewhere down here. 1 second. So the set parameter is also important command. You will use that. For example, what you see here, the set parameter command is used to disable and enable the RATS. So this is this command will be helpful when you start accessing the MIFARE DESFire tag. And there's also a nice explanation about various commands you can use here, and most of these commands are the MIFARE classic commands or MIFARE ultralight commands. Say for example, you got reading 16 bytes and increment, decrement, transfer, restore. All these are the MIFARE classic, the parse operations. And yeah, here is a good example. So here we have seen this example before. So the first step is to select a tag, which is done using inlist passive target command. So here, so the after this command here also the command mentions it would like to initialize a maximum 2 tags, and it would like to detect only the MIFARE or sorry the ISO type A tags, and the response says 2 tags are detected, and this is the target number 1, and this is information about the first target, and this is target number 2, and this information about the second target. So as you can see here, the first target looks like a classic tag, and the second target it's a MIFARE ultralight type of tags. So if you have to keep one thing in mind, even though 2 tags are detected and activated, only one tag will be in the active state. That is the tag that is I think the last tag that is detected will be in the activated state. So in this case, the tag number 2 will be in the active state, whereas the tag number 1 will be in a sleep state. So next is an example on how to authenticate. So here is a command to authenticate, and so I'm going to cover this command in detail when I make a video on the MIFARE classics. Probably that will be in the next thing I'm going to do. So after the authentication, this command, so here it says in about reading from the card 1. So there's something what you have to keep in mind here is, see, the target 1 is a classic and target 2 is a ultralight, and target 2 cards are initialized and card 1 is in the halt state, and this command is sent to the target 1. So you have to keep in mind, even though the target 1 is in the halt state, this intag exchange command automatically activates the target and sends this command. So at any given time only one tag can be active. So because this command is targeted to the or sent to target 1, the card 2 will be put in the halt state, and as you can see here, the card 1 has been is in the wake up and authentication is performed. After that, a read is performed, a 16 bytes read is performed on the tag 1, and this is the output of the read command. The next command is writing to the tag 2. So here we don't have to send a separate command to select a tag. Selection of a tag and deselecting of a tag is automatically taken care of by the firmware. So here this command writes 4 bytes to tag 2, and we know that the target 2 is a MIFARE ultralight which doesn't need any authentication. So the command is sent to target 2. Meanwhile, the target 1 is put into the halt state. So likewise, the next command, so we'll be sending the halt command to the tag 2 and so on. Okay. So this it's a good example to go through that, and I advise you to go through this because we are doing the programming here. You just try to focus on every byte. So I'm going to go back to my software, and I'm going to show you what's the write command and how it is done. There is also one good example in the user manual in page number 128. And now we know in data exchange command is the one used to send various MIFARE commands to the tag. And what this diagram is trying to say is, so the host controller, we use in data exchange by passing the target and the data out. So we know that immediately we get an acknowledge from the PN532, and PN532 is sending all the commands it's sending to the target, and the target response is sent back to PN532, and which will return this response in the as outcome of the in data exchange command along with the status. And it is quite possible that the data we sent here to PN532 might get some kind of a transformation happening in the firmware, and the correct commands and the parameters are passed out to the target. So I'm going to show you how to do the write operation. So I'm going to use the tag which we used in the part 1 and choose the ultralight, and we just saw the sequence of steps here. The first thing is to activate, and if you look at the commands, so we have done this in passive target. So I'm going to try this command without a tag and see what's going to happen. So if I say activate again, so this time the output of this in list target is we just got up to here D548, we got D548, and this time we got 00, whereas here we had 01. So this indicates that no targets are detected, no tags are detected. So when you use this command, you will end up checking the outcome at this byte. If it is 0, that means there is no target. So I'm going to put it back. Okay, so we got back, and we know that this output data consists of the UID which I'm showing here. So because it is a ultralight tag, there is no authentication required, and let us go and write something. I'm going to clear this command so we understand we got this command is very clear. So I'm going to write something to the page number 5. So I'm going to write, say, capital ABCD. So when I say write, now we'll see what has happened here. So a write command is sent. How did I come to know the write command? So we know that the manual has got everything. So in page number 130, these are the commands the firmware supports, and we are using this command A2 called for. So the manual says the command is A2 followed by the page number followed by the 4 bytes of data, and this we know it is the checksum of the data and the post timer, which is 0. And you can see here the response, you have to get the status, because we know that in data exchange command returns a status followed by any additional data, and if the status is 00, the write is successful. So that's all is all about the write. And there are so many other things in ultralights. For example, the locking, and you got OTP. I'm not going to speak anything about that because I got so many videos, but eventually whatever you do, whether you set the OTP or whether you set the locking, you will end up doing just the write command will be used, but you will have a different data pattern here. So in order to use ultralight, you just need to, or you'll be using just the read and the write command. So I'm going to speak about some more commands I have used here. So if you look here, so I have got the commands for the get status, the sleep mode, finished, and this is all to do with in select, release, and halt. And we can also turn off this antenna on, antenna off. I do this, I use this, if there is any exception, or if I want to start the tag, reading all from the scratch, like as if starting from the power on, I start without a font. So let's try some of these commands. So I still have the tag, and if I click on this tiny R here, so this will send a single read command. Now I know that the tag is responding. I'm going to show you some of the commands I have written, and they are available through this drop down list. So I have got the sleep mode, the finished, the get status, the RF on and RF off. So let's see the simplest one, that is the RF off. So what RF off does is it will tell PN532 to off the antenna so that the tag doesn't have any power now. So the structure of the command is 32 followed by 01 and followed by 00, and our best friend is the user manual, we know that. So this is in page 101. You see the command called RF configuration. This same command is used to configure more than one thing in PN532, and you have to indicate, you have to specify what changes you want to do. If you want to change the RF field, the CFG item will be set to 01. If you set the CFG item to 02, you can change various other parameters. So here this configuration item 01 also takes additional parameters called configuration data, and it takes only 1 byte here, out of which all the 6 bits are not used, and auto I have not used, so I just I don't want to speak about that. So the last bit is the one I have used here, which is 0 means RF off, 1 means RF on. So what we have done is we have set the RF off, so this also means the tag has got no power. I'm going to try to read and see what happens now. So this interesting information here. So the host has sent the command, the RF the PN532 has responded, and this response is also this acknowledgement, but there is no response from the tag. So we know that the tag is not powered, and this is my message saying that the read to page 8 error. Oh, this error read page, okay, so this is probably a programming error. Now what do we do? So we just have to reactivate the tag, and it's not only that. Okay, let's try to react, because keep in mind we still have the RF off. So activate. So did we get, yeah, I think the activate automatically makes the RF on, then we got the tag selected. So you can read, read is successful. Now you can try setting the RF on has got no changes here, and this is the command structure for RF on, where the configuration data will be 01 here. The next command we are going to see is called as the sleep mode. So this command takes the card to the halt state, and we use this moving the command to the halt state and from halt to the selected state whenever you want to communicate with the more than one tag. Now I still have got my card responding. So if I move to the sleep mode, so the command we are using is called in deselect mode. So in deselect, so back in page 66, the in deselect is in page number 139. So there's an explanation here as well. You have to specify the target number, and what it does is to deselect the tag. So there's also some important information here. It says what exactly is happening depending on the tag types. For the type A tags, it is sending the halt A command. For type B, it is sending this halt B command. For any MIFI card, it sends halt A, and if it's ISO complaint, it sends deselect. And for Felica and innovation, there's no action at all. And it also says if this command is successful and you get status as 0, if you send, if the target tg value is equal to 0, so all the tags in the field will be sent to the halt state. Now I'm going to try to read and see whether the tag is automatically put to the select state. So try to read it, and it is indeed. So we don't have to send a separate command to select a tag. So this in data exchange command, in fact, if you read this user manual carefully, somewhere in the document I remember they mentioned that in data exchange will automatically selects the tag if it is in the halt state. So that's what has happened here. Try it's a finished is basically telling PN532 that to get rid of all the information it has got about the tag. And so the command that is used is called in release. Again, you find all the information in the user manual. Now I'm going to try to read. Now it's something I've released the tag, so it's also equivalent, it's also same as the PN532 has got no information about this tag. If you try to read, so we get an error, so because the tag has been released. So the only way to start using this tag again is to activate. So it's fine, it's back to function now, so I can start reading. Now there's one more command called the get status, and this command, so if I'm showing the outcome of that in a different window here, because get status is now one of the important command as well. And at any given point of time you can find out what PN532 is doing, how many tags it is controlling, and is there any error in the last command. So I've shown all the information you find in user manual here, and the get status returns almost 8 bytes here. So these are the decoded information about the byte, because there was a error. So it says last error code was 27, and the description says this command is not acceptable. Is external RF field present? No. So because we are not using PN532 in the target mode. Number of tags currently detected is 1. The logical number of the current tag is 1, and this is the baud rate between the reception and transmission. The both are set to 00 means 106 kbps, which is a standard a type A tag, and the modulation type used is for these type of type A tags here. And is there a like a secure module? There's no. Okay, so probably whenever you get an error, so it's advisable that you send this get status command and find out there's an error. And soon after we call the get status, the next time you call, okay, the error, you lost this error code, so error code is reset as soon as you use this get status command. The other thing which I would like to mention here is about what happens. Okay, that's something in the background. So what happens when we try to write to a tag that is locked. I'm not going to try the locking in this tag because I already got so many tags which I've been playing with. I'm going to use one of them now. So there is one more write command called it's called the write in compatibility mode, and which you can use it by selecting this this option here. If you go back to the documentation, you can see there are two write commands here. One is writing 4 bytes and the writing 16 bytes. So you have to use this write 16 bytes if you are working with the MIFARE classic type of tags. Because I'm using the ultralight tags where the page has got only 4 bytes, I'm using this command A2. We can still use the command A0, but we are going to send only the 4 bytes and keep all the remaining 12 bytes as zeros. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to write to page number 6. So I'm going to set this as E, F, G, H, and use this. If you want, I can clear this and write. So the write is still successful, and you can see that we are sending the 16 bytes here, where only the first 4 bytes has the data and the remaining 12 bytes is set to zeros, and the output here is a success. So that's write is successful, and you can go and check the status command. It says it's success as well. There's one more thing I would like to show. A feature in this software is, if you tick this hide ACK, we can hide these acknowledgement frames. So probably assume that you want to send this to a friend by email, so you can get rid of this acknowledgement, because this string repeats for every command. So I'm going to try read tag with this tick, and you can see that the acknowledgement frame is not shown here. I'm going to show you how to do the write to a locked or a protected page. I'm going to swap the tag here, and because we change the tag, you have to start all over again from the activate command, and you can read. So the read is successful. Probably it's the other tag. Let me try one more tag. So activate again. Okay, looks like this tag also is pretty clean. Okay, now in this tag I've got a couple of locked pages already. So I'm going to show you something which is not very clear even after reading the documentation. So I'm going to write this time to a locked page, and because the way we have programmed, as soon as you click on the locked page, you never get a chance to write here. However, I can use this write. So I'm going to write A, B, C, D, and I'm going to write to block number 10, starting with 10 and ending with 10 as well. So I'm going to write to a block page. See here, as you can see here, the page number are shown both in the first column as an hex number and followed by the decimal or the base 10. So write. So here, so this is exactly what I wanted to show. In fact, I didn't wanted this box to be ticked, and okay, so we just take it right from here. So we still have the use compatibility write is ticked, and we try to write by sending 16 bytes, and because we are trying to write to a locked page, we got the error, which is the status byte here. So as soon as you write anything to a locked page, you immediately get an error if you use the right compatible mode. So keep in mind, whenever these MiFi tags encounters an error, you have to reactivate. So you have to click again. So I got activated. So I'm going to read again. You can see that you're able to read everything. So I'm going to write this time. So I have a feature here. Probably now I'll check this strict mode. Yeah. So this button here is just for the students, okay, to try to write to a protected tag, and this is something like when this is open, the software allows you to do whatever you want. But keep in mind, just because the software allows you to write doesn't mean the tag lets you write it. So because the tags are smart. They don't allow you to write to a protected tag, a protected page, sorry. Now I'm going to write to page number 10, a locked, but this time using a normal 4-byte write command. So right here we got write as a success. So we know that this cannot be a success because we are trying to write to a locked page. I did raise this question in a couple of forum, but I couldn't get any satisfactory answers, so I have to just keep this as a mystery here. And if you try to read it fails. So because this was not successful, however I'm really surprised why we got this the status 00. But keep in mind, so sometimes you have to just bear with this. So because it's an error, you have to reactivate the tag, and I'm going to write again this time. So I still want this use the same write command. So I'm going to write a number this time, say 1000, say write. And if you go and see the status, even the status says, yeah, look at that. Yeah, I think here the status is what's saying, it's saying that there is an error. So try again the status. Yeah, let's try to reactivate and read, and we're going to write again, write number, just to write the same thing. So the write is successful. Now if I go and check the status, okay, the status also is not helpful here, but when you try to read you get an error, and the status is an error. Okay, so to summarize, okay, what happened here is, when we try to write to a protected page using a normal 4-byte write command, PN532 responded with a success, but if you try to do any other tag operation after that, you will get an error message. So I think that's all in this video. Probably in the next video we'll go into more commands. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.